credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
When a polarizing leader dies, the world holds its breath. Do we soften their legacy out of respect for the dead, or do we speak the truth, even if it hurts? Charlie Kirk, American conservative activist, founder of Turning Point USA, and one of the most recognizable faces of right-wing youth politics, was shot dead while speaking at Utah University in September 2025. His death was sudden, violent, and shocking. But the bigger question is not just how he died. It's about how he will be remembered. And that question is not just for Americans. Around the world, societies struggle with the same dilemma: how to remember controversial leaders. This is Joossa, The World Re-Examined. Before we talk about how Charlie Kirk will be remembered, we need to know who he was. Charlie Kirk was born in 1993 in the United States. By his early 20s, he had already founded Turning Point USA, a conservative organization that quickly grew into one of the most influential youth movements in American politics. Its mission was to promote free markets, limited governments, and conservative values on college campuses. Kirk wasn't just an organizer, he became a public voice. He hosted podcasts, appeared on television, and traveled across America on speaking tours. He often spoke about guns, race, religion, and what he called the dangers of woke culture. To his supporters, he was a fearless defender of free speech and traditional values. To his critics, he was a provocateur, someone who thrived on outrage and division. And whether people loved him or despised him, one fact is undeniable: Charlie Kirk had an outsized influence on Americans' political landscape. Politically, among young conservatives, his words shaped debates. His organization mobilized thousands, and his name became a symbol of the culture wars. That this is the man whose death, sudden, violent, and deeply controversial, has now opened a new debate, not about who he was in life, but how history will remember him. His record was always going to split opinions. Kirk rose to prominence in his 20s by founding Turning Point USA. He built it into a powerful conservative youth organization, famous for rallies, campus tours, and social media campaigns. He defended guns fiercely. He opposed affirmative action. He attacked what he called woke culture. For many young conservatives, he was a role model. But critics point to his words, and they were sharp. On race, Kirk suggested that some black people in power were only there because of affirmative action. He called Martin Luther King Jr. awful. On guns, he argued that some deaths were a fair price to pay for the Second Amendment. To his supporters, he was brave enough to say what others wouldn't. To his opponents, he was a race baiter who fueled division. And this is where the moral reckoning comes in. When divisive figures die, society faces a choice. Do we polish their memory until it shines, or do we keep the edge sharp so future generations will understand what really happened? Supporters want Kirk remembered as a fighter for freedom, silenced too soon. Critics say his words left scars and that whitewashing those scars would be dishonest. The truth is that both things can be said at once. He mobilized thousands, yes, but his words also hurt millions. And memory, if it's to be honest, must hold both truths together. This struggle isn't new. It happens in every society. In Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe is remembered as a liberator who ended white minority rule and as a dictator who crushed his own people. In South Africa, the UK, statues of Cecil Rhodes spark debate. Was he a visionary or a symbol of colonial oppression? In Britain, Winston Churchill is celebrated as the man who stood against Hitler. But Many young people also remember his racism and the colonial policies. In India, Gandhi is a global symbol of peace, but within his own country, some debate his views on caste and race. Even in the United States, battles over Confederate monuments show how memory is never settled. Charlie Kirk now joins that global story. How do we remember figures whose lives inspired both loyalty and pain? Memory isn't neutral. It is shaped by power. President Trump calls Kirk a patriot. Influencers call him a demagogue. Media outlets choose which quote to highlight. Social media amplifies the loudest voices. The result? Competing versions of history. One makes him a martyr for free speech. Another makes him a cautionary tale of division. Both are partial. Both are powerful. But memory cannot just be about emotion. It must be about truth. Otherwise, we risk building myths instead of history. As a patriot, a provocateur, a champion of free speech, a race baiter, or all these at once, this question is bigger than him. It's about us and how we as global citizens treat the legacies of those who divided as much as they inspired. Because in the end, what we choose to remember and what we choose to forget is the story we tell to the future. This is Joossa, The World Re-Examined. Tell us in the comments, should we speak on the good of the dead, or is honesty the greatest form of respect? That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, share, and like this video so that when there's a new post, I will personally send you an email to let you know that a new video has been uploaded.
Thank you.